Notice we're back with Blaster Master Boy. Now, if you've missed all the previous sessions and have no idea what's going on screen right now and none of what you're looking at makes any sense, let's start from the top in case you've somehow missed both previous sessions. This is what I'm dubbing the Clearathon, a marathon set of streams where I try to beat a certain number of games before the timer on screen runs out. As you can see there on screen with the 8-hour time. Now, the attentive among you during last session will notice we ended with 4 hours left, and we are starting today with 8 hours again. That's because I received a generous donation in between Tuesday's end of session and today's start of session. Now, since I took a break day, I obviously didn't want somebody who donated to end up not getting their money's worth, so I've credited the time on the board anyway. They did not request any change to the clear target, so we still have 5 games to beat. Now, to clean that bit of logic up for anybody who missed these other sessions, though, that clear target on screen means we have beaten 4 out of the 5 games that I started the setup with. I have to beat 5 games before time runs out, or we will discuss a consequence. Now, you may have noticed that I said people could change the amount I needed. $10 raises the amount or lowers the amount by 1 target per 10. So if you say donated 50, which is the donation I received in between, which added the hours you see there now, you would be able to raise or lower it by 4. Now, obviously, if you lower it down to 1 target, not only would the clear condition be fulfilled already by far, but it would also make it cheaper for people to raise it. Same would go if you raised it up to, say, 10. The cost to reduce the number would be lowered. The games that have been beaten up to this point, for anyone interested... Let me pull the list up, as I didn't actually think of that till now. We have beaten Space Raiders for the GameCube, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Zardian for the Super Nintendo, and Cool Spot for the Genesis. I forgot to note Cool Spot on the list, apparently, so I'm going to fix that. That's why you saw me hesitate for a second there. I'm like, wait a minute. I know we beat 4 games, and there was only 3, not counting the one from the beginning of the month on this list. So I'm like, huh, that doesn't make sense. But I remember now. So we're good. Everything's fine. Now, you'll notice the timer hasn't started yet. That's because I only start the timer when gameplay begins, and I stop the timer when gameplay ends. So as not to give myself a unnecessary disadvantage, considering I do these intros so people understand how the system works and everything at the beginning. I think I did forget a thing, though. Sure did. There we go. This way my own Discord actually is properly alerted. Hopefully. So since I did it out of order, it probably isn't going to properly pop up, and you know what? That's just how it is sometimes. I don't do, like, detailed alert warnings and such there anyway, so it'll be okay. Yeah, exactly, Peachy, and welcome in. Unfortunately, the ads are kicking on because there's always the early ad, but hopefully you're doing well. Let's see. I think I've covered all of the introductory stuff. Oh yeah, there is one thing specific to Blaster Master Boy I want to address. Honestly, be thankful that you don't have that. If you have Turbo, you won't see any ads, but otherwise, you might just be one of the lucky ones whose ad blocker actually works on Twitch still. Because I had a whole time where I could actually avoid ads on Twitch entirely, and then they changed something with how their ads are set up. And then my ad blocker stopped working. It's a shame. Because as much as I would love to support people by sitting there and watching ads and everything, I would happily not watch any ads ever. You know, the trade-off is constantly there. But yeah, for Blaster Master Boy specifically, we did get through half the game on Tuesday. I'm going to start over, though, for 2 reasons. One, I screwed up and didn't put a save state down, apparently. So that's a dumb on me there. Forgetting that it's a Game Boy game and it wasn't going to save without having it properly set up for that. So we're going to have to go back through the first 5 worlds again. Now, there's an upside to that. And the upside being, we will be able to get through stronger this time. Because remember, we lost all of our power-ups toward the end of Tuesday. Does mean having to tread back over old ground, but considering I only need to beat 1 more game before I hit the clear condition, plus or minus people adjusting that, I feel like that's going to work out just fine. I'm kind of just stalling till the ads finish for the beginning here, so that people don't miss anything significant. Which, I tell Twitch to start the ad the second the stream starts, by the way. And it never does. I swear it just, like, shifts by a minute, like, every few streams. And it drives me crazy. Worst thing ever. But it gets the job done. It is what it is. Now, the ads are about to end, so I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. Which I had to fight the timer again today, but, you know, it's fine. We make it work. Everything works its way through eventually. Let's actually get the gameplay now. Now, for those who missed Tuesday and don't know what Blaster Master Boy is, it is connected to the other Blaster Master games, but it is only the walking segments from Blaster Master. And it was apparently originally going to be a Bomberman game until it got transformed into this. Which is interesting. And I learned when I was double checking the clear times on things that it's actually got a sequel technically. In that Bomberman World for the PlayStation is a sequel to this game. Or at least it's listed as... Actually, no. I'm getting my games mixed up. Atomic Punk is the one that's a Bomberman game for sure, but this also was potentially going to be a Bomberman game based on how it plays. That's why I got them crossed in my brain. Ignore me. I went through a lot of information just not even an hour ago, so brain has definitely confused itself unnecessarily. Don't mind me. Yeah, our only moves are shoot and blow things up with bombs. We do have multiple bombs, which we learned about toward the end last time. As you can see here, we start with 5 of these directional bombs. We can get single direction bombs and very large bombs, more or less. And all of our power-ups are contained within these breakable blocks, which is where the Bomberman thought came from in my brain. Though I believe it was also... I believe this was also specifically going to be a Bomberman game, but I know it was Atomic Punk that I was thinking of when I said the other bit, though. This is a shield. It makes things that touch me die. It's very convenient. It's one of the more active shields you'll ever see. These lanterns are going to be vitally important because there are dark stages that I'm going to need them on, where I will not be able to see literally anything other than myself if I don't have a lantern. We learned that the hard way when I had to walk through a dark stage with water in it without a light. I had to literally just bash my face into the walls to find my way forward. It was a bit rough. We managed to make it work, though, and if I have to do it again, I'll do it again. That E over there's a full heal. Those little canisters in the bottom left are our health. Run out of those and, you know, as you might expect, death ensues. Don't recommend it. We do have 3 lives to start with. You can pick up more. We have discovered some extra lives in this game. Specifically, I think a whole 1 of them. And as you can see, blowing yourself up hurts a lot. So, you know, don't do that. These little bullet things are 1 health, so they're useful. Why are there so many of these bomb things? The spawn rate in this game is funny. Like, sometimes nothing is spawning, and other times it spawns like 50 enemies, and I don't understand what's happening. It really seems like the more area I clear, the more enemies spawn. But obviously I have no confirmation on that. Because even reading the manual didn't really give me too much to work off with that. Now, with regular bombs, you can place 4 of them at a time. The other bombs you cannot necessarily place as many of. Like the bombs I mentioned as being particularly big at the end, you can only place 1 of those. Now our first boss. Big Slime Boy, who we are just going to bomb to death because I learned last time that that's just resoundingly effective against him because he tries to follow you around spawning slimes. And you can just keep dropping bombs behind you for him to walk into because he's not that bright. He is, in fact, you know, just a big slime boy. He's not really gifted with intelligence. He's lucky enough to have sentience. Such as it is, and such as the debate as to whether being sentient is fortunate or not, really, if you think about that too hard. Which I wouldn't recommend. Every time you see him get the X eye, you can tell he's taking damage. Eventually he'll die. That's the biggest flaw in this game, is the bosses have a lot of health. There we go. It really does take just, like, a lot. And then the music just kind of dies when the boss dies. It's weird. Just getting rid of a notification right quick, don't mind me. Grab the key. You always need a key to be able to leave the stage. There you go. Each world has a varying amount of stages to it. Like, World 1, as you saw there, only had 2 stages. 1 actual stage and 1 boss. That water over there, very bad for our health. You step in it for too long, you instantly die. You will just sink into the swamp like a badly built castle. Don't do it. The little life preserver you saw me activate there keeps me from falling into the abyss of water and perishing. So, you know, make sure to have some life preservers on hand. These guys latch onto your head and make you go really slow. This is a secret area. We only found 1 of those last time. We didn't actually find this one. I think I saw it and didn't understand what it was when we were here before. But they have a bunch of free stuff in them. I should also address things like that P. The P means you can shoot further. I assume it's meant to be like power, even though it says how fast you're shooting in the manual. It's a bit weird. The boot lets you move faster when you're walking, which is incredibly important because our little blaster boy here is very slow. F just boosts you across the board. It is just really useful, and you can only have 3 of them. These shoes here let you walk on spikes without taking damage. That's the only thing that didn't really get heavily addressed last time. And that's what everything does. You now know as much as I do about this video game. Based on how far we got last time, it shouldn't take us too awful long to finish this up, as long as I don't get stuck like we did last time. Where I start getting my shit absolutely rocked by a couple of the bosses. Because it was like an hour or so, and we had gotten halfway through the game. So, it shouldn't be too bad. The how long to beat, I believe, is like an hour and a half. So us getting halfway through in an hour with getting beat up pretty bad sounds about right. Lightning Bolt. But yeah, you'll notice that today's labeled as Revenge Tour. That's because we're going to be playing primarily things that we started and didn't finish during the other parts of the Clearathon. So really it's going to be this and Konami Crazy Racers probably the whole day, because everything else we actually finished. And Konami didn't really beat us, but it started being problematic, so I had ended that day on that one at the time. That was back on Monday. Now, I'm feeling decently energetic today, but obviously we are starting late because it's a Thursday stream, so there is a very high likelihood that we'll be wrapping up in like 5 hours or so today, just as a note for anybody who wants to know when they can be here to end up not missing any of it. So have no fear, there will be more tomorrow, considering we have 8 hours on the clock. Now, if we end up only having those 3 hours tomorrow, obviously I will just go for 3 hours and then we'll wrap up. And then we will resume the archipelago on Saturday. Which works out well for me, but obviously if you all want more Clearathon, you know. All you gotta do is either encourage someone to raid in, or throw some money down, or follow, whatever. Any of those things will work. Literally anything you do, aside from just sitting here watching, will influence that number in some way, shape, or form. I figured this might be a secret, that's why I was just walking down here and checking. Yeah, to phrase that a little more coherently, subs, bits, follows, raids, all of those raise the timer. And obviously donations do too. Donations more significantly than most things because, one, people are putting in an extra effort to give me money, so I would like to reward that, and two, I get all of that money instead of it being a cut taken by Twitch, so, you know. Again, a reason to encourage that behavior. Ow. Hey, Charlotte. Hope you're doing well. We may have exploded ourselves slightly, but we're fine. Everything's okay. Yeah, these underground sections are always dark. You have to use a lantern to be able to see anything down here, and they're always for power-ups so far. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you gotta blow up, and unfortunately you can't just act like you don't know nobody. It's the wrong kind of blowing up for that. As you can see, these lanterns don't really last that long, which makes these areas a little annoying. But the power-ups that you find in them are worth it. Usually. Especially when you get 3 lanterns back. So actually, I think I got all my lanterns back. Get a shield. There we go, full heal. I was hoping there'd be one of those armor power-ups down here, but not so much this time. I'm not gonna bother turning on another lantern since we're heading out of here. The exits are almost always, like, against a wall back at the beginning. So you don't really need the lanterns for the way out. Another lantern, another life preserver, and another life preserver. Based on how it went last time, we're gonna have more life preservers than we'll ever need, but we're gonna be lacking for lanterns. Blowing up everything is satisfying. Besides, we need to do that for prizes. We all want prizes, right? Who wouldn't want prizes? I do kind of wish they hadn't chosen quite that sound for the lightning, because it just sounds like a damn old alarm going off a little bit. And I don't like it. Okay, so that's everything on this platform cleaned up. Let's go ahead and check out what's down here. The good news is it seems like there can't be water underground, which is a weird thing to think about, considering most water on Earth is underground. But, you know, don't worry about that part. It's fine. You don't need to think that hard about it. Oh, and something I should note about donations. It doesn't get read out on stream, it doesn't, like, pop up or anything, so if you want to say anything in a donation, only I will see it. But there will be a little animation that'll play, and your name, I believe, will come up on screen. I don't actually remember, because I don't actually, like, look at the... I don't actually, like, look at the OBS feed all the time, so... I want to say that's how I have it set up. And that's our first time drowning. Because because I couldn't get the menu open fast enough to get a new life preserver out when we got bumped into the water. So that's our first death. But thankfully, it was before we got the armor upgrade. Because obviously, if you die, you lose these upgrades. It's very annoying. Okay, looks like there's nothing up there, so we just go down this way. The key should be up here, considering there was no keys anywhere else. Perfect, and we're out of here. And now it's time for boss 2. Which was not too bad to deal with, but it was our first death when we played before. Because he shoots a lot. And, you know, for obvious reasons, it's kind of tricky to get good square hits on him, because you gotta hit him in the head. Which also usually means putting yourself in position to be shot. And since we only have 4 directional movement, it gets tricky at times. Thankfully, with the armor, we have better capabilities than we would otherwise. We also have a couple boots to give us speed. Which, the fact that shoes give you speed in this game is one of the things that I'm like, yeah, this probably was a Bomberman game originally. I think I'm too close to him when I'm placing those, so by the time they go off, it's too late. The good news is he does just go in a square pattern for the most part, so he's easy to predict. You just gotta be able to, you know, maneuver well enough to get in position. There are no healing items in this game, which is the other problem. Like, there's no, like, pick-upable healing items, that is. Thankfully, it seems like my bombs block his shots, so actually, strategy is forming. Oh, he's doing different things now. I think he's hurting. Oh, I fucked up. But I got him. That was a risk. I thought I trapped myself, and it was about to be really awkward. But getting through that boss without losing our armor power-up is fantastic. There we go. There we go. Everything is fine. Hey, let me go ahead and show you all the big bomb. As you can see, it clears a lot of territory. It's risky to use, though, because you will hurt yourself, but it can be very effective, just like these are effective for clearing larger blocks like this out. Generally, I just use the regular bombs, but the other ones can be handy. And yeah, if you saw the flickering, for example, that's just it being a Game Boy game. Don't you worry about that. There's nothing to worry about there. Oh, right, this is the stage with the dancing guys, who just kind of show up and dance for some reason. And it's on you if you walk into them. Shut up, Windows. No one cares. One of these days, I will actually bother to update the Stream Deck so it stops complaining at me, but I don't use it enough to remember to update it, so it just sits there and complains at me. Yeah, that's fair. A little bit of dancing is fun. Another secret area that I missed last time. That's too far. Yep. The funny thing is, when you're in between tiles, it really will pick based on how far onto the next tile you are when you drop the bomb. So you gotta be very careful sometimes. Well, I screwed up. Thankfully, the shield protects me from my own bombs, too. It's very convenient that way. Boop. Goodbye. Thank you for another power-up. I need that. Need all the power-ups I can get. It does get slightly tedious blowing up the whole stage, but it is still satisfying in its own way, as you might imagine. And, you know, considering you need it for power-ups, it's pretty necessary to make sure to do. Use this just to clean up this area over here for my own convenience. Makes it easier to just chop right through all of this. I have to assume there's a speed limit in this game, like you can't go over a certain amount of shoes, probably. 'Cause I don't feel like I got that much faster picking that one up, for example. But I believe somewhere in this stage there's another one of those armor power-ups, so I'm really looking for it. Because this would be our first time getting more than one of those, and I would like to see if it gets better or if it just is like a buffer so you can't lose it as easily. I'd be down for either idea, really, but I would also be very interested to see this armor get even better. Because honestly, this little sprite already looks pretty good for a Game Boy game. I definitely like it better than our non-armored version. Or, I guess, not as armored version. A little more detailed and a little less just silly little round boy. Which, you know, nothing wrong with silly little round boy, but I like a little bit more definition. Yeah, you have fun with that. Put a nice big hole in the middle here. 2 lanterns, huh? You know what? That's enough encouragement for me to go down into this pit. Considering, you know, we have 12 lanterns, we should be able to get a good enough result out of down here. Oh, speaking of good results, by the way, I should mention this openly so people have an idea of what will be coming up post-marathon. I did pick up the game Goblins Die that we'd seen in the Next Fest not that long ago, like toward the end of last year, not that long ago, I want to say. I want to say it was that Next Fest. So I'll be organizing for people to play that at some point, as well as the game Pratfall that was recommended to me. So look forward to those being things that I run lobbies for soon, TM. That probably won't be next week, that'll end up probably being the week after at earliest. Thank you for the resub, Charlotte. Much appreciated. That too will raise the timer. And it also ensures that you don't have to deal with those ads we were talking about earlier. Which I still wish I could just disable completely and still be able to, like, accept subscriptions and things, but that's just not how that works. Because, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I accept that this is one of Twitch's main ways of keeping their revenue afloat, but at the same time, I just feel like we've gone back to the same old situation of how TV was, that people didn't like. Just arguably worse. I say arguably because I go back and forth as to whether, like, the full commercial breaks are worse than ads on streams or not. For me, it's kind of a mood-dependent thing. And it also, you know, is a setup-dependent thing, too, because obviously we all have our ad timers set differently. To a point. There's only so many options you have there, but you get the idea. But yeah, the other reason I'm bringing up the whole thing about picking up Pratfall and Goblins Die is none of that would be possible without all of y'all's generous contributions and support, so... As always, I want to take a moment to thank you all for the fact that you are making this possible to begin with. Like, I didn't stress that enough in the earlier segments. But I just want to make sure you all know that right now. Being a bit more clear-headed today makes it easier for me to remember to actually say such things, because it's true. But it's easy to end up not thinking of it, because, you know, you say it often enough, you start to expect people to be tired of you saying it, for one thing, and for two, it just becomes kind of an expected thing. But I never want y'all to think that I expect y'all to do anything, or that any of it is underappreciated. So, hopefully no one's getting tired of me saying that, because I'm going to keep saying it. Like, appreciation is a vital two-way street in this organization. I know, I'm just a terrible person being thankful for y'all. What an awful thing I've done here today. It's a good thing I'm evil. Anyway, down the hole. As you can see, some of these are more complicated, so it's important to actually look at the lay of the land with the lamps. This one's also funny, because it's full of exploding enemies that just spawn in constantly. And what we learned when we were down in this one in particular last time is if the lantern is out, like you don't have any light, they just start spawning on you constantly. Like, we just were exploding over and over again when we were in here just trying to walk through the dark. So this one drains a lot of lamps. Thankfully, we have double-digit lamps, so this time we're completely fine. But it was a whole thing last time. Like, watch, I'll walk along for a little bit here and watch as everything starts exploding. No? Maybe it was just that one particular part that I was in. There's one. Maybe I just walked into the Yep, there it is again. And another one. Maybe I just walked into just the right part where they were in the right spot to hit me. And I just assumed it was because of it being dark. Huh. The more you know. I think it does reduce the range, like the dead zone around you for them spawning, though. Because you can't see them spawn. Because you'll notice enemies were otherwise, like, spawning on the edges of the screen, for example. So, I do think that not being able to see does mean they can spawn directly next to you. But we thankfully got away with that clean, so that works out well. Let me fix something right quick. There we go. I forgot I wanted to keep Discord open on my phone to take care of any questions and such that popped up spontaneously. Because I was helping somebody else out with an emulation question before we started, and I didn't have time to finish that thought completely. So I want to make sure I can keep an eye out in case they have any further issues to try to keep them sorted out. It's important to do my thing, you know? Okay, that time I feel like I gained a decent bit of speed. It may just be there's, like, thresholds where it feels better. That one exploded in the wall. Just want that to be noted that that guy was inside the wall when he exploded. That seems like cheating. Okay, maybe I just had bad luck last time, because we found a whole, like, one of those anti-spike shoes at all last time. And we'd gotten way further before we even saw one of them. I mean, that's true. It's probably nice to be in the wall, because nobody bothers you in there. Just be one with wall. And everybody needs a wall now and then. After all, how else would your house stay up if you didn't have any walls? It'd be weird. Anyway, we're getting out of here. True. I mean, you could hold the roof up yourself, I guess, but it would get very difficult to do anything at that point. Unless you're so strong that you could just hold the roof up with one hand while you do other things. At that point, I feel like you've got a different talent you should be making use of. Just imagine how useful in construction somebody like that would be. So one holds up the roof while everybody else builds the thing around them. Just, you know, don't completely build it around them. That might get a little unfortunate for them. Suddenly they're just a support strut for the building and they don't know what to do with their life anymore. You can always tell the days I'm more caffeinated because I ramble way harder. Because that's basically your indicator of the speed my mind's going at the time, is whether I am just chatting absolute shit or not. If I'm just going thought to thought the whole way, I am, like, at perfect condition at that moment. That's a little peek behind the curtain there. Which is why, like, on Tuesday, for example, you probably all noticed that I wasn't saying that much other than what was happening in front of me. That was both because, you know, Cool Spot was taking a lot of attention to not die a miserable death constantly, and the fact that I just didn't have the mental fortitude at the time to be, like, multi-topicing. If you've never tried to play a game and talk at the same time, it can actually be rather difficult. Okay, our armor did gain a little bit more definition, it looks like. Like, the chest got darker, I think. And the visor narrowed down a bit. It's a small change. It's a very small change. And it looks like we take multiple hits without even losing health. Almost sank into the swamp. That would have been very embarrassing. Oh, you know, there are all those power-ups over there. We do have lots of life preservers. Let's go. This is what happens when these grab you, by the way. They just kind of attach to your head for a little while and make you very slow. They don't hurt you directly. Everything else will hurt you. Oh, you know what it is? It's not actually blocking a certain amount of damage. I think it just gives us a health extension past the edge of the meter. I think that's what's happening. That's why sometimes we take a bunch of hits without the health bar going down, and then other times our health bar just immediately goes down. I don't know if that's just a purely temporary buffer, or if that is like a refillable health buffer that you just can't see. We'll find out when I get hit again, because I just picked up a full heal. So if I get hit again and our health bar just immediately goes down, we know why. If it doesn't, we also know why. Oh, something else I was meaning to bring up. Okay, yeah, I did immediately lose health there, so it is just a one-off, I guess. Which is fine. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about is I keep looking at ways to do 3D again. As well as continuing to ponder how to bring back the old Live 2D as well. Like, maybe I just have too many plates spinning. But when would that be anything new for me, right? Constantly scheming up new things. But yeah, what I wanted to know is, has anybody actually tried other 3D modeling programs other than Blender? Because I got told about another one the other day that I'd never heard of, and I can't remember its name off the top of my head right now. But I'm very curious if there are that many other options out there. Howdy, Tara. So, hope you're doing well, and thank you. So far, we've had good results here. It is a redo, basically, of one that I had started already. But, you know. Progress is progress. Okay, looks like that little arrow is telling me that I've already activated it. Okay. I didn't notice that before. Blast this open, and now we'll actually place the multi-directional ones. Actually, I could use these. These go only in the direction you were facing when you used them. So you can actually, like, blast whole lines, which is really nice. Nice, nice. Hope you enjoyed your lunch, and hopefully Persona 5 Strikers ends up being a good time. I keep hearing about that game, and I've yet to actually really look at it. It definitely seems like I would be more interested in it than regular Persona 5. Because it's very much a style I enjoy more than the standard RPG these days. While people will say, it's like, Persona's not really a standard RPG. A lot of it kind of is, though. Now, this guy's annoying because his tongue, when it grabs you, is an instant kill. You will just die. So don't let him grab you. It's a problem. Yeah, I died a lot on this fight last time. Thankfully, we can kind of stun lock him by standing off to the side here a bit and just keep shooting. He does gradually make progress. But at the very least, we can damage him a lot before he can even do anything. The problem is, I gotta be very careful of the timing for when he unstuns, and the fact that he can be stunned and tongue at the same time. So hey, you know that extra armor upgrade? We just lost it. Because this fight's kind of bullshit. Like, he is just very annoying that way. But yeah, I just want to draw attention to the fact we have one F now. So what that means is I do only lose one layer of the upgrade when we lose them, so that's good. Still sucks. And we have one life left, so there's a very real possibility we may end up having to do a continue. Which I believe makes us lose everything. Or maybe not everything, but a lot. Which really sucks. There's also the problem where it gets stuck shooting the wrong way. Because you'll notice I shot a couple times down. You can't see the input because obviously I don't have input on screen. But what happened there is I pressed up and shoot at the same time. So it didn't take the up input to turn him around. As it tries to let you kind of like pseudo strafe, which is a blessing and a curse. The good news is you can continue as much as you want. But you'll notice we lost one of our P power-ups, and I believe some of our speed as well. I don't actually know everything we lost there, aside from we obviously lost the armor upgrades. Like, it is at least kind enough to put you in the position you were in when you died, for the most part. This is also a move you can do, though, is baiting him into using the tongue and then blowing him up. Problem is, he just takes so many hits. Because every boss in this game takes 1,000 hits to kill. Like, that's the only real complaint I have with this game, is bosses take way too much damage. Like, in most games, stun like a boss like this would have led to them being dead before you even know what's happening. Like, I want to say most bosses in this game take, like, 30-ish hits, which is insanity to me. Especially for a Game Boy game. Like, this is a game they expected people to take on the go with them, and their bosses take this long to die. Like, this is basically the strategy there. That's what I was trying to do before, but one slightly fumbled input leads to him eating you and you just die. So we lost both armor upgrades just because that boss sucks. And that's why I say it sucks, though, is because it's not even that much of a fight. It literally is you just stand there until he dies and hope he doesn't eat you before he dies. That's literally the fight. If there was, like, any more dynamic to it, I would say it's actually a fine fight, but there just isn't. Okay, we took a hit but didn't lose a hit point there, too. So either there's enemies that don't do a full health point of damage, which is possible because now 2 of them hit me and 1 health pip went away, or those single pickups are the ones where we actually get the health buffer from, not the armor upgrades. Which does make me admittedly question what the armor upgrade power-ups actually do. Is the shoes make us faster and the P upgrades make us shoot further, and I haven't noticed a noticeable damage difference? So I don't really know what it does. Even the manual just says it powers Jason up, which is like, okay, that's great, but what does that mean? Like, powers him up in what way? Like, it could just level up his damn self-esteem for all I know. Which, you know, that's great and all for him, but doesn't really accomplish anything for us. There we go, there's the key. Let's not leave yet. We don't have a ton of time on this stage, but, you know, we got enough time. Insert, yeah, I've got time meme here. There we go. Actually, you know what? We just picked one of those up. Yeah, see, I take a hit from him and my health bar doesn't go down after I picked up one of the single heals. So I think those do just actually buffer into, like, a little bit of temporary health on top of the actual health bar. Which is fascinating to think about. Because that's something, like, not accounted for on screen at all. So for that to have been coded in a Game Boy game is interesting. Like, I feel like this is one of those cases of it's a system that's more ambitious than the system itself could really render properly. But this game is overall, I would say, fairly ambitious, considering you've got, like, bonus stages inside stages, you've got the underground segments on top of the bonus stages. You've got a fairly varied power-up system, 4 different bombs to use. Not to mention these multiple different armor forms you pick up via the F upgrade. It's very interesting for this being, like I said, a Game Boy game. And here's one of the just dark stages. Like, we're on the surface layer here right now, and it's dark. I did not notice this lantern pile when we were here before. I went the other way right off the bat and ended up finding the exit. So now it makes a lot more sense why it shouldn't have been a problem for me to have enough lanterns. Well, that's silly me, huh? Because that's basically enough lanterns to do the whole stage. If you don't get lost. As noted, despite these not lasting that long, there's so many of them. Those little, like, oval-headed dino dudes, by the way, drop bombs. You haven't really gotten to see them do it because I shoot them immediately, but they drop bombs just like ours, and they hurt a lot. So I don't let them do that. Yeah, see, there he goes dropping a bomb. Same blast radius as ours and everything. I believe it also does the same, like, 3 points of damage to us that ours do, which makes it very important to keep them under control. And there are going to be points where they're going to spawn a lot of them. We also might explode when we come back out of here since he put that bomb there. I don't know if that stays. I would assume it won't, but I kind of wish it would because it would be very funny. Now, it's particularly dangerous that those guys exist down here. Is, you know, they could blow me up and I wouldn't be able to see it if the lantern goes out at the wrong time. It's bad enough that all these exploding guys are here, making it very dangerous. Okay, we have a shield. It looks like that was all that was down here, so this was just a needless risk. But thankfully, we'll pop up with a shield up. And it looks like, yeah, he despawned, so that works itself out. We've got some solid speed going. There's the key, and the exit should be right behind us. Yep. I believe I blind walked out of here last time. Oh yeah, here's the boss that gave us the most trouble, the snakes. Now you may notice I said snakes. That's because there's going to be multiple of these. And it sucks to deal with them. Because not only do they turn around and bump into you like that. Oh, I think this is doing a shot damage upgrade. I think that's what the armor upgrades are doing. Despite the fact that they make your armor look different, I think it's making our shots stronger. Because that definitely died faster than it usually does. Yeah, they're definitely dying way quicker. Yep. We are just fighting Snake. We have a slight problem here, but it'll be okay. Because we're gonna be trapped in this hallway with him now. Okay, we killed it. We only have 1 hit left, though, so we gotta be real careful. There's 1 more. I think this is... Is this the last one, or is there another one? Doesn't matter, because he spawned in going the direction we were standing, because I didn't remember which way he goes. Which is why this fight is kind of a nightmare. You'll notice it also hits you when you're to the side of it, because his head is 1 extra tile higher and wider than it looks, which really sucks. Okay, no, we killed him in the same amount of shots. I think... I still don't know what the armor upgrade does, then. Oh, come on now. Why is that counting? God, this fight. And especially when he starts going really fast like that, it's like, what are you meant to do? Because the only real means you have to attack him end up usually meaning you have to be right in front of him. Or right to the side of him. One of the two has to be true. So we end up, like, tanking damage like that, for example. And he's got patterns like this that are really hard to tell where he's gonna go if you don't remember the pattern. Because you notice that doesn't stay in like a sensible shape. He just goes all over the place in that round. It's a nightmare. Like, this is why this guy ate like all of our lives. We had to continue like 2 or 3 times against this fight last time. It's just trying to make sense of this wiggly mess that he is was such a problem. Like, his first couple patterns are easy, and then it just turns into stupidity. I like trying to put bombs down for the early bit here, but it's hard to get them to time out properly. I did have some good success using, like, the big bomb and such against him. That was only so much of a thing as well. There we go. That went much better. His bumping him back into the bomb does also work, as you saw there. Yeah, this time he's so fast, though. I risked it. I thought I could power through him because I'd hit him a couple times ahead of it. I'm really hoping this is the worst boss in the game, but there is one other boss we saw that also was kind of terrible. And I'm very scared that the rest of the bosses in this game are just gonna be bad. I'd like that. Okay, at least we got first round clean that time. I got the wrong direction again. It's like, to my mind, it would make sense for him to spawn in and start tracking you. But he doesn't. He goes in set patterns, and my brain doesn't let go of the concept of him tracking for some reason. Because of how many times we just happen to accidentally be standing the right way for him to run into me, I think. So I just convinced myself that his attacks track. Okay, we got a bunch of good free hits there. But he'll be coming down the mountain here in a second. There we go. That was actually our cleanest kill on there. I was hoping he would come back around. Some free hits. Circle around. Oh, does he not go that way? Where the hell did he go? Where's your head, sir? There you are. And I'm... Oh, nope. I think I got him. Yeah, pretty much. You'll notice it also takes until the body disappears for the next one to come up. So if you have a really long pattern, you get more breathing room. But we got out of there. We did it. We lost, I think, about as many power-ups as we did last time, which is unfortunate. But it's fine. I'm happy enough having at least broken even. And having taken less time to get to that point. Like, this would have been at the time where, like, every other person had Snake on their phone, if they had a phone capable of doing anything like that. So it absolutely makes sense that that would end up being a thing that they know people would recognize. There we go. Chew through the whole set of building blocks here. These exploding enemies also break blocks, so you can actually just use them if you don't want to use your bombs. You have infinite bombs, though, so there's no reason not to. You can just do all the blasting yourself. It could just be fun to lure them into doing it, though. Just no way. There we go. I was like, there's no way there's nothing down here. There's never been one that has had absolutely nothing in it. Only ones that have had, like, next to nothing, like this one. This one did not have much to work with in it. Another power-up is nice, so we can shoot further. But I would have rathered an armor upgrade. Is this a secret? It is. That one was a kind of obvious secret, but I think I didn't pay attention to it last time because we learned about secret areas after this stage. Because we'd accidentally blasted one open, like, near the very end of session on Tuesday. Speaking of that session, though, it did get divided between the games that were played, as I said it was going to be. And those have actually been doing reasonably well on YouTube, so if any of you are the YouTube viewers that are listening right now, thank you for your support of the YouTube channel. It's very appreciated, because let me tell you, that channel has been just kind of a... I'm doing this for documentation's sake thing, since it had not been doing well for the longest time. But it has seen a good surge lately, so I'm very happy about that. And it would be nice if that continued. But if you were not aware, I do put every VOD out on the YouTube channel the day after. Of late, I've been splitting them up between different games that were played. Like for the Archipelago or for something like this, they'll all be divided up neatly. And of course, for any like demo sessions and such, all the demos will be up there separate as well. That does, however, mean that they don't go up at the same time. I usually, will split the uploads by, an hour, so people's subscription boxes don't just have, 5 videos all back-to-back in it. What I really probably should do is split them by days a bit for the days that I'm not putting anything up. Like, for example, Wednesday gets a VOD, Thursday gets nothing because there's no stream on Wednesday. So, today, there's not going to be a YouTube upload, for example. Technically, I could split it one of the ones that gets split off and put that up on that day, but I don't like the idea of people having to wait just for something arbitrary like that if they missed the VOD day of. Obviously, they could go just look at the Twitch VOD, but I have heard numerous people say that the VOD watching experience is not as good. And I can't say I've had the same experience there. I've not really watched a VOD on Twitch, because I am much more of a YouTube viewer myself, even if I do not like YouTube itself that much. It's just one of those things where that's what we have to work with. The ads are going to be kicking in here in a few seconds, though, so I am going to pause, and then we will come back after the ads, though. It was just another thing floating around in my head, so I figured I'd mention that. This is the stage I walked through blind, but we have 14 lamps this time, so I don't need to worry about that. The ads are kicking in now, though, so we're going to go ahead and just stop right there until the ads are done. So I can get up and do a thing or two as well. Like stretch my legs and all that. Because remember, make sure to get up now and then when you're sitting for long periods of time. It is much better for your health that way. Back in a moment. At least this is one of those games where the music keeps playing on the pause screen, so I don't have to worry about that. I feel like there was something else I was going to mention as a time filling point while the ad ran, and you know what? Just left. Just gone. One of those things we'll figure out later. Yeah, it be what it be. Brain will either give me back that thought or it won't later. Oh, that was the other thing. There's a possibility if the timer runs out before stream ends tomorrow that what I might actually do instead of just ending stream is we will change ideas. Because I do have a couple things I want to show off. So what I might do is I may just pivot to that instead of just ending hard cut, since it's likely to be a 3-hour stream tomorrow at that rate, depending on how things go. So we'll see how that ends up being. Welcome back from the ads, everybody, though. You didn't miss anything important. Literally, we've just been sitting here. I briefly mentioned the idea of potentially having a separate set of content if the Clearathon ends early tomorrow, but that was about the only thing you missed. And of course you didn't have any ads, Charlotte, because you are subscribed, so... that is, like, the benefit still for that. Which reminds me, I do need to make more emotes at some point, too, but that's a whole other... that's a whole other thing. Let me just do one last thing and then we'll get on the road here. Because I noticed a thing that I should take care of right quick. Because of course, you know, I get up and come back and then I notice the thing. There we go. Onward! Ah! You know, Past Me did this on purpose. Past Me definitely thought it would be funny if he paused right in front of an enemy that was going to attack me as soon as I unpaused. I think we all know that that's exactly what happened there. This Past Me can be a bit of a little shit sometimes. We fell down this hole when we were playing this stage before when we were in the dark. I also fell into that pool of water there, too, because I didn't see it, because, you know, couldn't see anything in the dark. I heard the sound, but I didn't recognize it till too late. It was a whole thing. Power up, very good. God damn it. Nope, get away. God damn it. Well, it's fine. They don't hurt me, they're just annoying. But they're gonna cost me more lanterns. How interesting, the other lantern didn't activate until after I got rid of that. Huh. I wonder if they just, like, block lanterns from working, too, which would be really annoying. Or if it's just, like, you can only have one thing happening at a time, and it depends on what order the things happen in. Either or is possible. Ow. God damn it. Like, see, it works just fine if they grab you after the lantern's already on. We are burning through our lanterns like crazy, too, which is annoying. I want to say I walked around in this hole blindly, too. This path in here feels familiar. As we were, like, scouring around looking for lanterns we could use. God damn it. Oh, good. They can still grab you even while you're shielded. They just can't hit you when one's already on your head while you're shielded. Well, hope nobody wanted to see me actually make use of the shield for anything, because it's going to be mostly gone by the time we get out of here. I didn't want to activate another lantern, it was just going to immediately get wasted. We are doing so much worse on the damage front with these things, but we're out of here. The exit's just right there. Okay, nothing else to grab. Get me out of here. Look, we can see again. There's just not a lot to see here. And I believe we're almost to the next boss. Which is where y'all will find out why I say that that boss is kind of bad. Like, I said that the other couple bosses were bad, but I would argue that this one we're about to deal with is worse. Which is impressive. I don't know why the little dino guy just blew himself up. Maybe he was thinking about the boss coming up too. And honestly, I could understand. As you can see, these guys are particularly bad in here because there's a bunch of narrow tunnels you can't shoot them around corners or anything in. And they can just drop a bomb and block the tunnel and be annoying. There we go. There's where all the power-ups in this stage are. First, we gotta get past the spinny boys. I don't really know why one takes 2 hits and the other one took 1. They were the same sprite, so... Good question. There's the exit key, and there's one little block over here left to blow up. There we go. Speaking of, let's just clean up some space quickly. I was a little closer than I thought to that, which is very unfortunate. Because you don't get healed between stages either. And since this is 5-4, I think this is a boss. It sure is. This guy's whole thing is he's got his, like, little bullets spinning around him. Okay, we did get healed. Now, the problem is, you'll notice he extends them out far enough that they can just hit you. Without the right amount of speed, you are just kind of hosed here. He also moves them at varying speeds, I've noticed, as we were fighting him before, so it's just very upsetting. Like, we had to fight this guy when we were down a lot of power-ups. So trying to keep ahead of, like, the fast spins, for example, were a nightmare. And I'm getting stun-locked now, so I can't even shoot him. And because, once again, the bosses in this game have, like, asinine amounts of health, he's still not dead. We're down to 1 hit, and we're probably SOL. Nope, there we go. We got him first try this time. That guy is just really annoying. If he kept his spin at a constant speed, as far as I can tell, you're not. You're just meant to take the hit there, because I've never been able to figure out a way to deal with that, because you are not fast enough. The closest thing to a move I've seen for that is going all the way down into the corners, because he can't reach the corners. Problem is, you can't hit him from the corners, because nothing you have reaches out of the corner. And you can't turn well enough to, like, run along the side, throw a directional bomb, and keep going and not get hit by the fast spin either. It's a whole thing. But I'm glad at least we got it the first time this time, because that took a good, like, continue and change last time. But part of that is credit to the armor upgrade, I think. And now we get to see spikes, it seems. Yeah, this game has, I want to say it was 9 worlds when I looked it up, so we have 3 worlds left to go through. of however many stages each one of these remaining worlds have. And I don't know if this game's gonna have a boss rush, but I'm very concerned if there is gonna be one, because that's gonna mean fighting the frog again, it's gonna mean fighting Spinny Boy again, and I'm gonna hate life. On the bright side, at least we're getting to see a new tile set, so that's good. That's all that was down here, huh? That's a shame. Really dislike how the wire for my controller interacts with the screen of my phone. Makes it very difficult to have a place to put the phone where I can keep an eye on it, but also not have the wire touch it. Okay, at least the spikes don't hurt much. I wanted to test how bad spike damage was, since they bothered to give you an item that protects you from it. It seems like it's the same as just enemy contact damage once per tick, which is not great, but it's not terrible either. Of course, we got things shooting missiles at us, it seems. Which have disappeared. Okay. I don't really know where the thing shooting at me went, but I'm not really upset about it being gone. Just very confusing when something attacks you and then just leaves. They gave you so much time for this stage. Look at that 12-minute timer down there. Yeah, I knew I was hurting myself there because I got knocked back by a missile. There was nothing to be done about that. Got 2 lanterns. Yeah, let's check. Basically, as long as I don't have just 1 lantern, I'm willing to check down these holes. If I've only got 1 lantern, I'm very leery about the idea. Not because I think it'll be dangerous, but because it'll be just kind of annoying. Looks like this was not worth it. Because that's the other problem, is you can very easily have a situation where it just isn't worth it. Thankfully, as long as you remember where the door is, you can just leave. As you can see, these spinny guys take like a ton of damage. Like that's something I just don't understand about this game, is some enemies and some things just take a lot of damage. I never had let one of those hit me, so I didn't realize they did multiple hearts worth of damage. And of course we were right next to an armor upgrade too. Great. So we lost one and gained one in the same moment. We could have had the better armor again. We could have. All if the spiky guy didn't do 2 damage. Ah, well. Let that also be a note that you actually respawn right where you die in this game, which is actually, like, really nice. 6-2 is just a boss fight immediately? Okay. Oh, this sucks. So it's not him that's the hazard, it's the stage. Because all this shit's moving around constantly. And he does contact damage as well. Great. This is a lot to try to keep track of. Especially since he can easily just pen you in with his giant hitbox. I'm dead. I'm so fucking dead. Yeah, what are you supposed to do with this? The entire room is danger. Because I can't shoot the blocks, I can't destroy the blocks. They just are there constantly. Oh, this sucks so bad. This is a neat idea, but the execution is terrible. Because you'll notice the blocks don't go in the direction their arrow goes. It goes in either the direction it goes or the opposite direction. So it's very easy for you to just get trapped. Oh, this sucks so much. Because, like, you'll notice half the time I'm just in a box. I can't do anything. There's no counterplay here. You just have to accept your fate sometimes. Like, the good news is, it seems like a bunch of the arrows don't activate if you're not in front of them. But avoiding being in front of them is rather difficult when the whole fucking room is arrows. Like, if bosses had more reasonable health, this would actually be a very interesting fight. But because bosses have, like, 1,000,000 hit points, this is just terrible. Because you'll be here all day if you try to be careful and avoid the blocks. Like, I can't even say, like, oh, I'll just rush him down, because he just bumps into you and does a full hit of health damage constantly, too. And since his hitbox is inconsistent, I can't even be like, oh yeah, I'll just stay nearby and just avoid him. Because his hitbox is extra size above him. God, this sucks so much. I'd actually rather if they just made all these things like invisible walls instead. And that should tell you a lot about how I do not like this. Like, or at the very least, like, have these trap you in with him and not have the blocks themselves doing damage. I wonder if these count as spikes. No. No, they don't. They just suck. Okay. Because that would have also been reasonable. If, like, wearing spike protection shoes protected you from these, I would also have accepted that. Because at least that would mean that using your tools mattered. Instead, we have, like, a pile of tools that don't fucking do anything. And a boss who's just a dick. Which, if I wanted a boss that was just a dick, I would go back to the job I had before. Like, the good news is, it seems like they make you blink, but don't actually do... No, they do damage. It just is half a heart of damage. And I know, they're not actually hearts, but it's easier to say that than, like, tube of damage, because that just doesn't fucking make sense. Especially when I'm tracking, like, 15 hostile objects simultaneously, not counting the boss. Oh, great, the music just didn't activate this time. Thanks, game. Thanks for leaving me alone with my thoughts and 1,000 blocks that I hate. Great. Great, I love that for me. Don't adjust your sets, everybody. This is just doing this time, apparently. We haven't had this problem before. This is a new problem. At least for this game. I've definitely had this happen with other games before, but not this one. Again, if your bombs could just, like, destroy the moving blocks, this would also be actually pretty fun. Instead, it's just garbage. We're constantly under assault. Please give me back the music. Thank you. Like, at the very least, now I at least don't have just dead silence other than myself. Another thing that would make this more reasonable is if he himself was stationary and all the blocks were essentially the boss hazard, that would be fine. Because then you could just focus on dodging the blocks and not have this giant head that just bumps into you occasionally and kills you. You know, there's just a lot of problems with this. Because I don't want to say it's RNG to avoid them, because it isn't. This is somewhat controllable. to a point, because once there's like 30 of them dancing around you, you cannot keep control over that anymore. At least not with the way this game lets you move. And again, if this was like a survival bit or something, that would also work. Like, just you have to avoid long enough and the fight would just end. That would also be a viable thing. I wouldn't like it, but at least it'd be more viable than trying to deal damage while also dancing with the entire stage trying to kill you. What am I meant to do here? I genuinely don't understand. I am, however, starting to get more of an idea why I've never heard of this game before. Like, I've said this before with many other games, but there's usually, like, a thing you find that tells you why more people haven't talked about a game, and let me tell you, the boss design seems to be the thing for this game. Because everything else is great, just the bosses suck ass. They're just awful to deal with. They're awful to deal with, take entirely too much damage to kill, and that's just that. Like, if somebody made a mod and, like, cut boss health in half, I think it would actually make this a very fun game. I think that's literally all it would need, is, like, half. Not even, like, a lot off, just half. Also, multiple blocks stacked on me there, and I couldn't move. For those wondering why I stood there when I placed that bomb, the second one block left, the other one swapped in, and I couldn't move. At all. And it was disgusting. And considering whenever we continue, we lose even more of our power-ups, I am going to continue scaling downward instead of being able to scale upward and become stronger. Hang on, there's a notification in an odd spot that I'm trying to check in case people are like, why are we still cycling here? Because it's odd timing in an odd spot. Phone, why are you so bad? Oh, right, because mobile Discord's dog shit, that's why. Oh, okay. I'll read through that in more coherent fashion later, because that is actually somewhat important, just not something I need to look at right now. Just for anybody wondering why I take the time to look at things like that while I'm streaming, it's because seeing a number down there makes my brain itch if I don't do something about it. So I have to at least make the notification go away. I've talked about it a lot, but that is just a thing with my brain. And that's also why I don't do, like, big at everyone pings and such in the server either, because anybody like me would slowly be driven mad by that, especially with the amount of times I bring things up that I want people to see. So it would just be a disaster. Admittedly, instead, we end up with the situation as it is, where I spend half of my time saying, hey, does anybody want to do this? Or, hey, this is a thing that's happening, and half the people I talk to say, oh, I didn't realize that was happening, even though it's right there in front of them. And I get it, we all have a lot of Discord servers to look at, so I'm not judging anyone for that, just to be clear. It just leaves me in this awkward damned if I do, damned if I don't scenario is more what I'm trying to get across with that. Is that something I've been fighting back and forth with myself for so long about, like, okay, what's the answer here? What fixes this problem? And I have not been able to come up with a solution. Like, no matter which way I go about this, I end up kind of frustrated. Oh, is this gonna be the key to this fight? Is this tedious shit here gonna be the move where I just stay in this corner where the blocks don't move and then just shoot him when he comes by? So I think we have enough time in the stage timer to do this, but god, this is tedious. We have enough range to do it though, if I really feel the need to. And I'm currently feeling the need to, regardless of whether I have to or not, because fuck this fight. is like, I've done like specific game pings and such, but I was for the longest time trying a rotation for that, where like I would specifically get interest as to whether somebody was interested in a session coming up of the thing, and then I'd put them in the role. And I think that works well. The problem is I end up back in the position of like, how do I get people to notice that the question came up, though? You see the idea? It ends up being just an awkward loop there, once again. Kind of like this fight. This fight's just an awkward loop. I guess I could just run to the other corner like this and then wait for the blocks to go away. And just kind of like hit him with strafing runs, for lack of a better way of explaining the thought. Just, this is very tedious. But if that's how they've designed the fight to work, that's how they designed the fight to work, I guess. Oh, the excitement. Yep, guess what? You're stuck again, haha! Hey, I end up saying this a lot, but hey, budding game designers, see this? This is how you don't make a boss fight. This right here, don't do this. Or if you do, take what I've mentioned and think about it. Do this, but a better way. Otherwise known as literally any way other than exactly how this is currently. Because the worst part is, for all that I've taken my time with this, I feel like I've not done any more damage to him than I did last time. Because the clusterfuck of blocks end up getting in the way of you actually being able to deal damage to him, too. So I feel like running out there actually is counterintuitive to actually killing him. And if your whole fight is just sitting in a corner sniping at the boss, that's not a fight. That is just you sitting there essentially washing dishes as your combat cycle. Because you are just doing a repetitive task, and there's not even really, like, any back and forth to this at all. The only back and forth is between me and the timer. Yeah, like, maybe there'd be a way to, like, set up a pile of, like, Discord bots and such to automate what I'm trying to do to keep people in touch and such. And obviously, you know, people have their own controls to mute things and all of that, but I would prefer to not get to a point where people end up muting it, because you're back in the same position you started in at that point, as if you didn't ping them in the first place. But you as the one sending out the ping don't have the feedback of knowing whether people muted it or not. It just ends up feeling the same as if you didn't ping because no one reacts to it. So I really just don't know what to do. This is something I've been fighting back and forth with quite literally since I started that Gremlin server, basically. For anybody wondering. I guess I could use these, like, directional bombs, because they'll do more damage than our gun, I think. But obviously, there's the risk of missing like I did there. Huh. Come on. Any day now. Sometime this century, please. When we get down to the last, like, minute and a half, I think I might run out there. Notice we've been hitting him consistently most of the time. Combined with hitting him with explosives a couple times. And he's still alive. Just reiterating that point that bosses in this game take too much damage to kill. Like, it took the majority of the timer to kill him that way. But it worked. Like, at least we got out of there without continuing to burn more lives on him. Oh, great. Another dark stage, and we're out of lanterns again. So I'm gonna have to just walk around blindly in here and hope for the best. Hope you enjoy me blindly stumbling around in the dark, because how was I to know that another dark stage was coming up? Like, I feel like the game could have done with providing, like, a lantern in the early parts of these dark stages as well. Just so you aren't in this position. Because a lantern's not going to get you that far. Before anybody's like, but that would make it too easy. It's like, no, it would make it playable if you ran out of lanterns, which is very easy to do with how little lanterns do in this game. Where is the path? There's clearly gotta be a path to the right somewhere. There we go. Oh, I'm on spikes, I think. Yep, there's spikes there. Gotta find the spikes with my feet, which is not how you should do that, by the way. Highly recommend not finding spikes with your feet. It's kind of like finding nails with your toes. It's not a good idea. I say as someone who has found a few nails that way. Don't do that. It's not good. We have one major problem here, by the way. Well, a couple major problems, technically. One of which being, if I need to break a block to get the key, then I have very little hope of finding it. But I think I picked it up. Yep, I did. I walked through a blind stage again. Oh, lovely. Everything is pain here. Oh, I still have directional bombs selected. Whoopsie. I forgot that carries over from stage to stage. I was a little too focused on the fact that I couldn't see where I was going in the previous stage. I'd go down to that cave, but oh wait, I still don't have any lanterns. And it's one thing to blindly stumble through a stage because I have to. I'm not really gonna blindly stumble through a cave that I don't have to stumble through. Not to mention, I just don't think it would be good for y'all to watch me walk through a cave where none of us can see what's going on. Like, there's a debatable bit of excitement to the idea of me managing to find my way out of a stage without being able to see. Just feeling my way through a cave is not very interesting. Especially since I'd have to be periodically stopping to check what items I pick up. I do want to check if there's any other items in this stage, though. God damn you! I feel like there's going to end up being a case of there's not that many stages in this world either. Okay, there's genuinely nothing else here other than the holes. That is inconvenient, but you know what? We're just going to go with it. We're going to leave. I'm just very worried we're going to end up in a situation where I have no power-ups for the bosses. Case in point. This is apparently a boss? Did they run out of time? Or is this guy gonna, like, start... Okay, he does that. Okay. I thought he was gonna, like, start splitting and filling the room with bullshit or something, and I was gonna be really upset. Instead, he's just a big, happy guy. You just inflate. And it just happened to avoid explosions. Okay, he starts getting real fast about it. Oh, it hurts the entire time he's there. Oh, that's... not as bad as it could be still, but it's really upsetting. Considering he can expand real fast sometimes. But thankfully, he's pretty easy to bait out into doing it, so it's not horrendous. It's just kind of not great. Like, on the scale of bosses that have upset me, he's still not the highest by any means so far. He's just kind of tedious. Which is still an upgrade from the last one. Yeah, exactly. Except this doesn't even have any personality. It's just a happy face trying to kill you. Oh, and you do get stuck in him even if you're not against a wall. Okay, you know what? My opinion of this is dropping dramatically. I was waiting for him to do something and he was just dawdling about. Like, I'll give them credit for at least not having him crushing you do a full hit of damage immediately. So you don't just die instantly, basically. This is still, you know, not what I would call great. But still infinitely more playable than half of the other bosses in this game so far. Like, some of the shit in this so far are things I would have expected from a ROM hack, not a licensed official game, you know? Just like the sheer, hey, we're just going to kill you difficulty of them. Because, you know, a lot of the time hack developers are making their thing for dedicated members of that game's community, so the difficulty is kind of a whole thing. And or they're making it for their view of how the thing is done, so if they view just getting one shot constantly as fun, then, you know, they'll design their stuff that way. Take note once again, though, of how many shots this thing has taken, including getting blown up, and it's still alive. And since this game doesn't have a boss health bar, I haven't the slightest clue if I've made even any decent headway. Which I think is... Like, I've pointed this out with numerous games numerous times. It gets frustrating when an enemy has a lot of health and you have no indication of how much there is. Because it starts to feel like what you're doing isn't doing anything. I can only tell that I'm even hurting him by the fact that he's blinking. Beyond that, I don't know. Something might be happening. Maybe nothing's happening. His tracking is interesting. He doesn't always track directly on you. He tries to, like, head you off sometimes. The only kind of, like, guess I have at how close to winning this fight I am is how little timer I have left. Since I've been consistently hitting him for the most part. Got him. Yeah, consistently hitting him, I nearly died, and I almost ran out of time in the stage. Ridiculous. Like, they made these very tight. For no real reason. Oh, and you spawn in with enemies heading right towards you at, like, inches away from you. Love that. This is the second to last world, for anybody wondering. Like, that's not even the last world where they're doing this shit. So imagine what the last world's gonna look like. Like, I don't know if this is another case of they just wanted people to rent this ad infinitum because they think people are gonna keep renting something when it punches their dick in, or what. Which, let me tell you, in that time, people did. People kept renting things no matter how much it beat the shit out of them. So, well, some people kept renting things even if it beat the shit out of them. Not everybody did. Secret room. Like, I won't make the general statement of, like, everybody did it, because really not everybody did. Okay, I think they understand how much lanterns suck, because they gave you a lot of them. Does this stuff respawn? Never did check that. No, okay. It would have been very funny if that just endlessly refilled with items, because then I could actually have manipulated that pretty well. We do have 5 lamps. Let's check down here, because we do need power-ups. And considering we're getting closer and closer to the end, I would like as many power-ups as I can get. Because I don't know how many stages this world has. Like I talked about with World 7. There's no way this was an underground section with nothing. No, this was just an underground section with... Ah, there we go. It was an entrance to a path behind the spawn. That's why I didn't find it. Though, it was just for a heal so far, buried under 1,000 explosives. This was not worth it. We have wasted 4 lanterns getting a shield that I needed just to get out of the nightmare I walked into. Could only get away with that because I had the shield. And what are these things? Like skeletons or something that keep just popping out of the ground on me? I don't even know. Recoup one of our lanterns. I don't know if I want to go in the underground again. I feel like I have to, though, because like I said, we only have so many options for getting power-ups at this point, so I gotta kind of hope for the best. This one was once again not worth it. I think there was another path, but I feel like it was gonna end up being Bupkis again, so I just left. There's the exit, but we do have stuff to pick up down here still. We do only have 3 minutes left in this stage, though, so I gotta be quick. Oh, right, I gotta go down the other way. The spawn rate in here is kind of absurd. Well, that'll help with the spawn rate problem a bit. And don't get me wrong, Sunsoft is pretty well known, especially in this time, for their difficulty. So I shouldn't really be shocked, because I'm 99.9% sure this was Sunsoft. I want to say I said that on Tuesday, I just don't remember at this point, because I didn't double check. And considering, you know, Sunsoft is the one who had the Blaster Master license, until I believe Inti Creates has it now, because they're making Blaster Master Zero. Actually, I don't know if that series is done too or not. I'm not sure. There's many things that I do not remember off the top of my head that I'm having to touch on because of it being connected to this concept. I'm glad I kept a couple lanterns on hand because I had a feeling they were going to put me in another stage where I couldn't see shit. Just a bunch of long hallways full of enemies, huh? And nothing in them. Better off just dodging the missile launchers, honestly. Okay, this was a dead end just to get a shield, which means the key has to be, like, over here somewhere. I'm now out of lanterns, so I gotta kind of make it up as I go along a bit here. And there's a heal as well. I think I picked up the key. And nope, I didn't. Whatever that was wasn't the key. I thought I had a decent head count of what I had, so I'm like, I didn't see any number go up, so I'm gonna hope that might be it. I forget if the key had a specific noise or not. I feel like the key does have a specific noise, and I still haven't found the key. Oh, if the key's just somewhere in the stage, we are so in trouble. Okay, we're back in the loop where I found the shield, I think. Ow. And that's the other problem, is I could very well just die to an explosion here at any point. Don't make me just look up a map game. I'll fucking do it. Because you're kind of bullshitting me right now. Considering, like, everything is exploding. What, pray tell, am I supposed to do in that situation? Okay, the game over at least gave me my lanterns back. We lost the armor upgrade, but we got our lanterns back. Considering I have a decent idea of where we went and what we did, I can kind of work around this a bit without using any lanterns. At least till we get to the other half, and then I can kind of use the couple lanterns I have to figure things out. Thought I picked up... There we go, I picked up the lantern. The things I have to do just to get through these damn stages, I swear. I'm having to do, like, Link to the Past randomizer or level skipping here by walking through caves in the dark. Oh, turns out there's water in this stage. Didn't know that was there at all. Found that out fucking now. How did I miss that when I was here before? Like, I managed to completely avoid stumbling into that when we were here before. Incredible. Okay, we're about back to where I had all my problems happen, because there's the shield right here, and then this whole corner over here to the right is where we didn't go when we could see. There's the key. We were like inches away from it the whole time, but since we had no way of knowing that that's the layout over here, we would never have found that. But I was right about where the exit was. We were just like an inch away from the key the entire time. Okay, this is another actual stage. I don't know why that whole pool there exists. Like, it spawns enemies, but they literally can't do anything because they can't shoot through walls. So they're just stuck in an eternal purgatory there. Just like we might be with all these dancing guys who take 1,000 hits. Well, welcome to Corridor Town. Population, lots of corridors. Lantern is somewhat worth it. The rest of that was not super worth it. Oh, interesting. I was able to walk through them when they were blinking. Ah, that's where I get into the water. I was like, there's gotta be a way into that water, considering... Oh, found the secret area. Let's go... What's in here? What goodies do we get this time? Full heal, we take that. Absolutely. I've noticed there's not been anything, like, remarkable in these secret areas. There's not been, like, extra lives or armor upgrades in these. Just, like, a handful of kind of helpful things. I'm not really sure how to feel about that. I feel like secret areas should be more rewarding than that. But I guess they didn't want them to be too rewarding considering how easy they are to get to. And that, I could say that's fair. Oh, the exit's just right up there in that corner, too. Well, let's just get out of here before anything bad can happen. Because I'm assuming there's only one of those armor upgrades per stage, so there's not really anything else that remarkable to find. Thanks, I hate it. Neither of those were lanterns, huh? Great. Can't see where I'm going. Let's not go down a hole, because that's just going to compound the problem. Oh, there's a lot of holes, though. I'm going to end up going down into one of those underground sections without meaning to, because I can't see where I'm fucking going again. Why did they make so many dark stages at this point? Why? Like, don't get me wrong, they give you a little bit of warning about that by the fact that you run into them every few stages. But that teaches you two separate things, though. It teaches you that, A, you're probably going to have dark stages, like, once per world, because that's what was happening before. And B, that, you know, you need to keep a few lanterns on hand. Now I'm just gonna be fucking stumbling around blind underground instead. And the only reason we'll be able to tell the difference between whether I'm above or below ground is gonna be the music right now. That was a health power-up. Oh, and for those wondering why it seems like sometimes I'm moving multiple tiles without meaning to, it's because I can't actually tell when I'm moving or not because he's constantly running in place. So I can't actually tell if I'm moving or not when I'm in the dark. Unless I happen to clue in that the screen stopped scrolling. That's about the only clue I get as to whether I'm moving or not. Which is why I'm just constantly shooting when I'm walking around in the dark, so I can at least tell if I hit a wall. But I'm pretty confident at least some of the time I don't end up actually moving and I'm just going up and down in the same spot. Or I sometimes walk 2 steps instead of trying to go 1 so I can check for items. Like, if I had known that there was gonna be this many dark stages, I would have just not gone in any underground segments on my way to this point. So I could have had lanterns aplenty for these stages. But so many underground sections just burn your lanterns because there's just fucking nothing in them. Or there's like a pile of those head crab slimes, essentially, that slow you down a lot. Okay, you know what? Forgive me for this, but for the sake of our sanity, give me a second. Question is, are there maps for this? Okay, yeah, no, I also was remembering right that this was also related to Bomberman, just like Atomic Punk, because this was Bomber King Scenario 2 in Japan, which is part of Bomberman. And it's also connected to Robo Warrior, if anybody recognizes that name. So fucking weird. None of that is helpful to what I'm trying to do right now. Because the thing is, it's trying to redirect me to Blaster Master Enemy Below and to just Blaster Master itself, none of which is what I'm looking for. Can I get a... No, that's just assuming I want Area 8 from Blaster Master, which is not what I'm asking for. I swear Google has just gotten worse, which is no shock, considering the entire state of everything on the internet these days. Okay, hang on, I found a any percent fucking guide, which is gonna have to be good enough. So I just want y'all to know what this guide says as to how many power-ups to use to get through the stage for a speedrun. 3 lamps, even when you're speedrunning the stage. Let that just sink in as a context thought there. That's how little time these lamps last. And apparently there's 1 lamp to be grabbed somewhere near the end, according to this bit of information, and the key is to the left of where the exit is, which is great when you could actually see it. I'm gonna go ahead and just stumble around in the dark while the ads run, because you're not gonna miss much. So, looking at this listing, there are 2 more dark stages, so look forward to this getting way more tedious than I had ever intended it to be, and I can only apologize for that. But I would also just say, blame the game design for that one. And if anybody had a goddamn screenshot of the map layout or anything, we would be in business here, but there isn't any. Because, you know, why would anybody have seen the way this game looks? It's shocking enough that there's any damn speedruns of this at all. But that's because people will speedrun any damn thing. I fell down a hole again. Just gonna methodically search this area. I'm assuming the speedrun ignores all the holes, probably. So there may be more lanterns down in these. Okay, we got 1 lantern. I'm not using it down here. Okay, looks like we found a tunnel. Found a power-up of some kind. I really, really hate the disorientation of being in a completely dark place. Like, I'm not scared of the dark, per se. At least not anymore. There was a time where I was. But now I'm just always very uncomfortable just with the disorientation of not having any perspective of where you are at all. And I arguably get more frustrated than scared or anything. Okay, now that we're back on the surface, now I'm gonna turn the light on so I can see where I'm going a bit. In the hopes of A, finding that lantern that apparently exists near the end, and B, finding the key. Nope. And God forbid I get even more than like a millisecond warning on there being water here too. I found the key. Pretty confident that was the key. So the key's to the left of the exit. So the exit's like around here somewhere. Welcome back from the ads, everybody. As you can see, I'm still in the dark stage. I found the key, though. We died once, so we lost my armor. Again. Is God forbid I be allowed to keep anything in this game at this point. Oh, wait, no. The key is... If the key is to the left of the exit, then the exit's to the right of where the key was, which means I need to go back over to that one spot. Not that I can tell where the hell I'm going, because it's all windy paths and nonsense in this place. But I'm getting a partial idea of where I'm going at this point. Like, if I couldn't build a mental map as well as I can, I would have given up on this idea already, but I have a decent mental image of the lay of the land here. Especially now that we found the water again. Problem is I'm trying to find the way to the right of the water. And I thought there was yeah, there's an area right up here with no water. I love how we can see bullets. Just fine, by the way. Like, not even just our own bullets. We can see enemy bullets, too, fine in the dark. We can't see anything else. Okay, that loops right back to the water. Where the fuck am I? I thought I knew where I was, because I thought there was an area past the water further to the right. Maybe there's a different tunnel, and that's where I'm going wrong. But I feel like I'm just going in circles right now. Okay, we know there's water over there, too. Wait, what if there's more than one section of water? There's another thing that doesn't make sense. Oh, that's why I'm getting this wrong. Oh, I hate it here. So guess what? I had my stages wrong. I thought it was an 8-2. We need 5 lamps, according to the speedrun, for 8-4, and we need 3 buoys. That's why I was confused, because, like, wait, 8-2's not supposed to have any water in the way, because it only says use 3 lamps. Unfortunately, we don't have any useful information here. Oh wait, no, we do. And actually, hang on, there appears to be images, but I think those images are dead links now. Because whenever this was made, probably was long enough ago that those links died. Because it looks like they did have screenshots in between. Yeah, once you hit a water section, make sure to cross and grab the key, which we have. Then come back and go to on the upper section. You follow the top right path there. There should be a lamp close to the exit of the level to grab out in the open. So I need to get up to the top and then go right, I guess? Which is what I tried to do. Problem is, I can't see the quote-unquote top right path because I can't see any of the paths. The capture may have gotten weird for a second there because I ended up grabbing the top of the window too much. It looks like it's fine now, so we'll roll with it. Maybe this is the top right path. Or I'm going right back to the water I was in before, which I'm pretty sure is exactly what's happening. Yep. And you know what my biggest concern right now is? Other than, you know, just dying. I'm very concerned that I may end up having already picked up the one lantern that there is. And that was the lantern we used up already. Oh, this is like the 4th dark maze we've done now. The problem is, there's these lantern items I could be using, but I ran out of them. And there haven't been any more to pick up. So we've just been in hell. This is like the 3rd time I'm having to do this now. And there's apparently at least one more we're gonna have to do after this. Because you can't see power-ups in the dark either, so I can't even find them by, like, just stumbling into them particularly. And since there's water for me to fall into and die, I have to be just really attentive to using my buoys as well to not die. I've even looked up speedrun guides for this that have not been able to help me, if that tells you how bad this is. Like, the only thing I haven't done is looked at a video yet, because I don't really want to be staring at a video while trying to do this for all of you as well, you know? It's not really good. But I also am running out of choices for doing this. It's either that or I spend another 2 hours redoing everything, since I can't go back. Like, we're very much in a damned if I do no matter what I do here. I have 1 life left. I do think it's worth actually just dying here, because we've already, like, lost all of our power-ups. All of our power-ups are fucking gone. So, I'm kind of banking on a game over giving me lanterns, because I may have had 1 when I started this stage? I did have 2, okay. So we can use those 2 lanterns to try to navigate this stage. Once I get back over there. The problem is I'm only gonna have like a couple seconds of navigation, even with the lanterns, and I fell in a fucking hole again. Maybe I'll get lucky and there'll be lanterns down here this time. So I think the power-ups do change. Yes, there was a lantern down here this time. Okay. We have 3 lanterns worth of searching time now. Really, whoever thought this many dark stages was a good idea really should have rethought their life choices. Okay, now I'm just getting all the lanterns, apparently. You know what? That's fine. I'm gonna leave now, so nothing bad can happen and lose me these lanterns. Yeah, it's all just like these little nook paths, because we were in them before. I know where the key is, give or take. Should be past that water over there. Or is it this one over here? I think it's actually the water that's gonna be over this way. Oh yeah, and let's not forget the fact that this game is spawning like a million enemies now. Though, apparently they waited till I could see to spawn all the enemies, which is interesting. That, I think, is the exit over there. I think that's why we couldn't find the damn thing. Oh, now I'm finding all the lanterns because I can see. So you're telling me I somehow missed all these lanterns before? Is there just like a whole other separate path in the water? The fuck is going on in this cartoon? I'm so confused right now. Like, I'm gonna pause so I don't waste my lantern time to try to explain what the hell's going on in my brain here right now. So we walked so much in the dark here, and we never found A, any of those lanterns, and B, by the time we got this far to the right in the dark, we hit a second patch of water. Where's that second patch of water? The only thing I can think of is the first patch of water leads to the second patch of water. But as you saw, we burned through so much lantern already, going like 5 feet in this damn place. It's insane. I'm gonna try to make my way back to the water and try to save a lantern for when I get there, to try to make sense of any of this. Because I think what I did by having the lantern is I actually found that top right path that we were told to go find. But I don't have the key yet, so we can't actually finish the fucking stage. Oh, this sucks so bad. Problem is, I now can't find my way back out either. So I'm definitely just running into a dead end right now. Oh my god. This is about the time where if I knew a cheat for infinite lanterns, I would fucking use it. This is just stupid at this point. Oh, wait. Found the water. Now I just need to find the path. Okay, I got the key. That was the noise for the key, I'm 90% sure. Okay, game, why didn't you let me use the buoy there? Because I was mashing start. But I've noticed that's a thing sometimes. Every now and then, you'll be at, like, just this perfect point in drowning where it's just like, no, you can't actually use that. You need that to live, but no. No, you can't use that. Okay, no, I didn't have the key. I'm glad I double-checked. Yeah, see the way this is designed? This is why we're having the problem. It's all jaggy shit. Which is very hard to navigate in the dark. But somewhere around over this way will be the exit. I really wish I could have kept, you know, another lantern for this bit, but I needed to be able to see to go find the fucking key and make sure I had it. Okay, we're out. We need to find as many lanterns as we can in this stage, because we have another dark stage to do still. And we need to hold them like they're made out of fucking gold. Oh, the endless problem we have is half the way you get more lanterns is by using them to go down into the dark areas to go find more lanterns. It's infuriating. Yeah, I really don't know what they thought was a good idea here. And we are, like, demolished in terms of power-ups at this point. Like, we have literal zeros across the board at the bottom there, so any boss fights coming up are going to be disastrously difficult by comparison to what they should be. Unless we can also farm some power-ups. Which, I can't farm anything because the underground stairs disappear after you use them once. For one, and for two, you just can't get power-ups from enemies, so you can't get them that way, and the blocks in every stage are finite. So you have, like, a guaranteed locked set amount of things you can get. I mean, it is balanced around the fact that they expect you to somehow know that there's gonna be, like, 17 stages that are pitch black in this game. That's the thing. Like, I would factor this entire situation as just being a newbie trap. Like, it is designed to punish people playing the game for the first time. As was very common in this era. You had to figure it out and just accept the fact that they're gonna fuck you over the first time you play a game. I didn't want to go in the hole, but I also didn't want to blow up. So, I didn't really have a choice. Yeah, though I feel like most people, if they had ended up in this whole I can't see anything situation, a lot of people would have just turned the game off. Or, like, restarted to keep more lanterns for later. I do feel like my situation, as far as that goes, is a little bit of an aberration. So I have to acknowledge that as a concept. Oh, I think I know what I think I know where I am. I think I'm in another one of those one tile to the side and then back up again, then back down again situations. Considering all the explosions going off. So they've reused this underground. Which is good, because I at least know the layout of this underground. Oh, there's bombers in here this time, too, though. Great, and since I can't see them, I can't kill them with any effectiveness. So I just have to play avoid the bomb and wait my turn to be allowed to go somewhere. And this could easily end up not even being worth it. Yeah, none of those things we picked up were a lantern, and you'll notice none of them were a power-up either. So that was completely worthless. And there's a very decent chance we're just gonna die down here on the way back out. Considering it's gonna be loaded with explosives. Game design. Like, you might think that's me putting bombs behind myself. That isn't. That is one of those little lizard guys dropping bombs. I am only hitting the shoot button. I'm not touching anything else. And yet, this is still better than the dark stage was. I would rather stay here than go back to that dark stage ever again. Because at least I know where I'm at and I know what I'm doing here. And I'm not just gonna randomly stumble into instant death water. Like, that's the fucked up thing, when that has to be your point of comparison. And yet there are people out there that have spent enough time with this game to learn a speedrun for it. Just remember that there's always a speedrunner out there for every game. No matter what game it is, someone will speedrun it. And I do feel like that's actually a wonderful thing. But, at the same time, I do question their life choices sometimes. With the games that get speedrun. But there are also infinitely worse games that get speedrun on a much more regular basis. There's the exit. We're not leaving yet. Because there are more items to get still. At least we've got an armor power-up. Decent odds on me losing it just by staying here, because this place is riddled with enemies, but, you know. feel like we've been over here already, but I'm making sure. 'Cause I'm pretty sure this is how we got around to where we were. But you spend enough time on one end or another of a stage of a game like this, and you start to lose context of, was I over there, though? Because this all looks the same. But yeah, we definitely were over here. This is how we got over to this side in the first place. You can tell by the lack of any breakable objects left. So I think we just leave. Period 8-6. Oh, good. Clones of us. I'm gonna assume I have to kill for every pod there is, basically. At least this is neat. This is actually something. Because they're also fairly easy to beat. Because they're a little bit, you know, pod-brained. They don't shoot as fast as we can. They drop bombs where it'll just blow themselves up. Though, look at how many pods there are in here. Like, they wanted to figure out a way to give these guys as much health as the bosses, and, they did by making 1,000,000 of them. But, like, we can just corner camp and win, so this is kind of a non-issue. The most dangerous ones are going to be the last couple, because there's not going to be cover anymore to use against them. Now, if these guys dropped power-ups, that would be cool. That'd be great. The fact that they can blow each other up, though, is actually really funny. Like, that makes this actually kind of a cakewalk to do. Because you just get them stuck somewhere where one of their friends has already dropped a bomb, and they just destroy each other for you. Which is what actually makes this kind of neat, because there's actually, like, an extra layer to this that you could use, instead of, oh, hey, I guess I just suffer. Because you can manipulate their pathing to make them stop where their own bomb is, for example. And as long as they're getting hit, they don't shoot, so you can literally just stun lock them just like most of the other boss enemies. Admittedly, if I didn't have any armor, this would probably suck a lot more, as every hit would be taking off health. As it stands, because of the amount of them that there are, we might get attrition down still. Because we're over halfway, but we're also over half dead. Thankfully, I still have my own bombs to use, too. Which I was waiting for more open space to use them. Because I didn't want to end up blowing myself up as I get hemmed in somewhere. But as long as you just space your bombs out a little bit, they basically guaranteed walk into them because they try to track right to you. So they're just like the absolute easiest thing to bomb ever. There we go. Easy. The sudden dead silence is once again very jarring. There we go, period 9-1. We're in the last world now. Underground section. Underground section? I can't even get to the other parts of the map because of all the underground sections? I think there's only like 1 or 2 areas I think I saw to this world. So this world does not take long at all to get through. I fear for what the finale is gonna be, though. I didn't look. I'm just very concerned by virtue of the nature of what this game has been up to this point. Like, the boss fight that I assume exists could very well end up being what takes us till, like, the 3rd hour. Or plus. That said, game count-wise, we only need to beat this to reach the clear count, so unless people change that, there's still a very good chance that we're gonna manage to beat the clear count today. So I tell you what, at the rate this game is draining me, there's a part of me that's like, you know, maybe this ends up being the only game I play today. But considering the nature of the marathon, I don't really want to stop early either. Especially since we stopped relatively early on Tuesday. But, you know, there's got to be balance in all things, so we'll see how things end up happening. Great, more bombers. The amount of enemies that drop bombs as well, though, definitely also shows the Bomberman connection a bit. There's not a damn power-up down here anywhere. It's just all dark and sad and dinosaurs trying to blow me up. Oh my god, there's bombs everywhere. Okay, I found 2 healing items, which is great until you consider the amount of health I'm going to lose to these explosions. I'm willing to bet that the only power-ups there are probably were under all those bombs. And I really can't go over there to figure that out, particularly. And I found something. Wasn't a lamp. Might have been a shoe. Okay, I'm in the tunnel to get out again. Get me out of here. Okay, both these lead to the same place, so I don't even need to go in that underground over there. So I'm probably not going to. There's the key. Wait, but how do I get... What? Ow. How do I get over there? Did I skip a path? I had to have, right? Oh yeah, it's right up there. Duh. I also should be bombing, like, this whole top section to see if there's a secret anywhere here. It seems like it's always, like, a 1-block thin wall at the edge of the screen somewhere that holds the secrets. And even though the secrets don't have, like, grade A power-ups, every little bit helps. Actually, it feels like this is probably gonna be where it's gonna be, right up there. Yep. The oh-so-subtle secret zone. Okay, this one was actually super worth it. Because it had an armor upgrade and an extra life. I'm so glad I looked for it. Because that will help a lot. Because it does seem like we shoot slightly faster with the armor upgrades. Maybe that's what it's doing? Like, it may override some of our upgrades down there. Like, it's like a flat value of +5 to it or something like that. That's just me just throwing numbers, by the way. I have nothing indicating that at all. Other than just how it feels. 3 Oh, fuck me. Back in the darkness. Oh, boy. So I've got some bad news. 'Cause I took a peek at the speedrun guide to get an idea of how bad this was gonna be. If it tells you anything, they don't bother to explain the routing through here. They just say, go look at the run to see the lay of the land in this place. Because there's just too much to explain, apparently. Just to give you context of just how bad that is. They also mentioned the arrows being necessary for the final battle, and considering I've got 99 arrows, I don't think I need to worry about that. I'm just ignoring that part, because that's spoilers for the final boss too, but I'm just mentioning that as a thing. Like, I guess at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to just stubborn my way through here. It does mention that only a couple boots are required, so there shouldn't be any water. There's just spikes. So I've got that to work off of. The problem is, I don't want to lose my armor in order to try to cheese lanterns. Oh my god, look at us. Look at our armor. We have level 3 armor. And it actually looks pretty good. Hell yeah. If I can keep this for the final boss, that would be incredibly good. That wasn't a lantern. That wasn't a lantern either. Pretty much, yeah. Where the fuck is any pathing, though? Okay, I found a path that goes somewhere. That was health. There's spikes. Literally, I'm using the enemies to get myself an idea of where the path is now, too. I'm so sorry to everybody that is watching the walk around the void game we're doing here, but we've already discussed the fact that I don't have any fucking choices. Please don't kill me. That'd be very unfriendly of you. The big concern is going to be finding the key. If there even is a key to find here. Unless I've already found it, which I might have. Oh my god. There's such good odds of me dying and losing this armor. I think I found the exit, I just don't have the key. Because I have to assume that this random, like, single dead end down here is the exit. Okay, I found a full heal. Fantastic news. And just narrowly avoided exploding. The fact that I'm managing to fight in this void is very funny to me, honestly. Found something else. Still not a lamp, though. God forbid there be any fucking lamps in the dark stages. I'm finding so many power-ups that are not what I'm looking for. And I'm running out of spike protection, too. Because God forbid that be here, either. Okay, hang on. I need to find some more information on this stage, because there's no fucking way that we're making this work right now. Why is the YouTube viewer so fucking bad? I'm trying to find the stage that we're on. Can't believe I'm actually resorting to looking at a fucking video. Figure out where the hell the key is. Why is this stuttering so much? Jesus. Then again, this is a video from 2013, so that might have something to do with it. Okay, the key's in the bottom right corner, it looks like. The good news is, looking at this video, I have a decent idea of the lay of the land now. The problem is, we are almost certainly gonna die. At least once. Because of the spikes I'm gonna have to cross to get to where the key is. Let's see, where am I right now? I'm here. Okay. Yeah, because I'm right... This is the exit right up here. Oh! I did have the key already. Let's go! Meet the final boss of the game. A really big fucking armor suit. Notice the fact that our gun doesn't work on him. That, I presume, is why the arrow bombs are said to be necessary for this fight. And it said like 20 arrow bombs will kill him. So, can I say, final boss-wise, this is kind of silly. Like, the previous boss was a bunch of us, and now the final boss is a giant version of us. Like, really? That's what you went with? Like, he's just a big us, and he throws big bombs, and shoots big bullets. Yeah, exactly. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more phases to this or something. And, like, maybe this is just, like, the opening silly phase. Oh, he's charging now. Maybe he just has multiple things he does. Honestly, the multi-directional bombs might be a bit better, though they do have less reach. Like, I assume they say to use the arrow bombs because they reach further. They're just a little bit of a pain to use because you have to turn and make sure they face the right way. Case in point, also his hitbox is taller than he is, apparently. Thanks, game. Thanks for that. Glad I just used like 33 of my arrow bombs just to die to his hitbox being shit. Okay, I'm gonna level with y'all here. I'm putting a save state down, because if I get screwed like that again, I'm gonna throw this game out, so we're just gonna do that. That is not fair. Him being able to hit me while I'm at the top of the screen without him actually going the rest of the way up there is not okay. There's also a very real possibility we will just hit a point where I don't have enough bombs left to do this, which would make this impossible. Assuming that there's no other way to hurt him, which I assume, like, regular bombs probably hurt him, so it would technically be possible still. But in the interest of not just redoing the whole fucking game... I actually can't tell if that hurt him or not. He definitely moves around a lot more now, so he definitely went through like a phase change, and I'm gonna die again because I'm up at the top. The bottom of the screen seems to be the safest place to be because he will try to drop a bomb on you when he's down here at the bottom. So as long as you're cognizant of his bomb range, you're actually pretty safe, it seems. Because he'll always try to place a bomb. He won't, like, stay at the bottom of the screen. Damn it! Wait, I had 2 health left. Why did I die there? The fuck? I disagree. I had literally 2 hit points left, and it just decided, no, I'm dead. But it didn't take the health away. Even when something's done multiple ticks of damage, the health bar was empty. That's the thing I'm questioning right now. Like, that feels like it was a bug. 'Cause I'm pretty sure I had more than 2 hits of health there before that happened. But obviously, you know, I can't tell because I was too focused on dancing with this jackass to be able to guaranteed be like, yeah, I had this much health left right then. But I thought I had 3. Somebody would have to check the tape on that one to know one way or the other there. Like, the good thing is you can stun lock him a bit. So apparently some parts of him just don't count because you watch that bomb go right through him. He's also getting faster. Which, that's a question mark in and of itself in terms of boss design. That's not the direction that was supposed to be pointed in. Like, baiting him into coming down and placing a bomb really seems to be, like, the move now. He doesn't have any real iframes, thankfully. So we have that advantage. He also seems to take a hit from his own bomb? He's dead. Yeah, that was a very underwhelming final boss, honestly. Kind of annoying, but underwhelming. And now after all that, we just are treated to slowly walking over to the reactor, I guess, that has caused this whole thing that we have no information really about. But I guess we're gonna do something about it. Hooray, touching it has made it stop exploding. I guess. And then the ground came back for some reason. But it's okay, because Blaster Master Boy is happy. See? He's staring into the sky. Happy he never has to deal with those bosses ever again. like, I don't think that boss was terrible. I don't think it fit as a final boss, necessarily, I think is my biggest problem with that. Especially considering how stun-lockable he actually was. And loopable. And I would have really loved it if they didn't have him have an extra tile of hitbox above him. That was bad. But that is 5 out of 5. Obviously, I'm going to keep going until the timer runs out for the event overall. Before anybody's like, oh, I guess show's over. Guess the clearathon's done. It's like, no, 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 no. You guys are going to get your full timer, at the very least. And it will be up to y'all to increase or decrease that requirement to see if you can change things before time runs out. Yeah. I'm pretty confident I would have, because we went through, like, 30 bombs, and it took around 40, I think, to kill him. It did seem like also, if he backed into the blast, he would get hit repeatedly, too, which is probably why the speedrun says 20 bombs. So that's interesting. Let me go ahead and update the counter to 5 out of 5. And get the total for the month updated. Yee. Like, overall, I think that game's fine. It definitely could have done with a bit more time worked on the boss design. And the lanterns lasting longer. Because, like, the lantern mechanic is fine, but the fact that they last, like, 8 steps worth of time